Hello guys, what's good, my people, back again with another one. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be back to bring to you another topic. So without any further ado, what would I be talking about today? I'll be talking about 5 mistakes women commonly make on the first date. So 5 mistakes women commonly make on the first date that leads to them not being called back, or you sometimes you go on a good date with a guy. You go on a date with a guy, and he after the date ends up not calling you back, or how the effort he was putting in before in trying to court you isn't the same anymore after that date, especially if it was a date that actually went well and you guys had fun and all that good stuff. So 5 mistakes women commonly make on a first date that leads to them not being called back. That is what I'm going to title this video as. So without any further ado, the first one is talking about marriage and kids too early. Talking about marriage and kids too early. So this one is a red flag, or can be a red flag, depending on how you talk about it, or depending on how, as a woman, depending on how you bring it up. I think on the first date, the purpose of a first date is to get to know each other, obviously, but also to see if you're compatible. Now, sometimes just one date can't really define how compatible you're with someone. It could take a series of dates, or sometimes maybe just one date might do it. But there are certain things that shouldn't be spoken about on the first date. I think there are certain things that should be held back, and as well as certain things should be spoken about. But also it depends on how these things are brought up, right? So as a woman, you don't want to come across as desperate on the first date, talking about, even if your internal disposition is wanting to get married eventually and having kids. That's not a bad thing, and that can be spoken about, but it depends on how you bring it up. If during the course of the date you bring it up once, twice, or if the guy should ask, then fine. But it shouldn't be something as a woman you keep on mentioning and pushing, because it might make a man step back and look at you like, okay, like is she this desperate for marriage or for kids? Like, what's going on here? So that is one thing. That is one mistake as a woman you definitely don't want to make on a first date. So bringing up marriage or wanting to have kids too soon. That's the first one. Now the second one is being too critical. Being too critical. You have to understand that nobody is perfect, including you. Nobody is perfect, right? Including you. So people have their flaws, and certain flaws are easier to find out quickly, and certain flaws can be hidden, right? Irrespective of that, we should be lenient and kind to each other. Sometimes women have a tendency to overly expect, have like unreasonable expectations, and which is not a bad thing, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes the expectations can be too grand, can be too grand, especially at the beginning. So sometimes you should tone it down, relax yourself, and calm down, because the same expectations you have for someone, especially with women, sometimes the same expectations women be having for men, they don't put those same expectations on themselves. So you shouldn't be critical or criticize somebody too soon. If it's the first date, take your time, assess everything, just have an open mind. Don't be too critical. Don't be snappy. Even when things are not going as well as you think or thought they would, just be more patient, really. Don't, because you can end up missing your blessing by just judging too soon and being too critical. You might end up missing your blessing. So that's the second mistake women commonly make on the first days, being too critical or criticizing too soon. Now, the third one is constantly checking your phone. Oh my God, don't you hate that? And it's not just for women alone. I think for men as well. For both parties, checking your phone constantly. It gives an insinuation that the person you're on a date with is not interested, even if the person is putting in effort. If you're the type of person that you just check your phone every time, it makes the other person feel like you are not interested and you're not invested in the date, which is likely to make them angry, because everybody values attention, especially on a date. When you're on a date with someone, especially if it's just two people, it's not like it's a double date, it's just you and somebody. Your focus should be each other. The man's focus should be the woman, and the woman's focus should be the man. So all that constantly checking your phone should be it's a no-no. For me personally, if I were to go on a date with a lady and she was checking her phone constantly, to me it's a dub, because I'll look at it as disrespect. I'll look at it like, what do you think this is? Are you trying to waste my time? And I'm the type of person I am, I would bring it up. But if you continue doing it, then I'll dead the relationship. I'll dead the date there. Right there, then and there. I'm dead in the relationship, and you'll never hear from me again. So when you go on your date, minimize the amount of time or the amount of times you check your phone. Keep your phone on silent, and just be respectful to the other person you're on a date with. That goes without saying. Now, the fourth one is not offering to contribute. Not offering to contribute. Now, I'm not saying that personally. For me, as a Niger boy, if I'm taking a girl out on a date, whether it's the first date, second date, maybe even third date, my disposition is to pay. It's just how I was raised. My disposition is to pay. But that has a caveat to it. If it's respectful, especially to yourself as a woman, that if a man pays for, let's say, he pays for the food, he pays for the drinks, you guys go do bowling or something, he pays for that. It's respectful that you pay for something. Respect yourself. As a woman, have dignity for yourself. Don't just come and eat free meal. Don't shame yourself. Offer to pay for something. If he pays for the food, he pays for the bowling, he pays for the parking or whatever, offer to pay for something. Doesn't matter how little it is, offer to pay for something. What that does indirectly is raise your value in the eyes of the man, whether you believe it or not. No matter how tiny the bill is, no matter what it is, if you offer to pay for something, it raises your value as a woman to a man's eyes. You don't want to be that leech of a woman that, you feel like, oh, he's taking me out on a date, then everything he should pay for. He pays for the food, he pays for the drink, then he pays for the bowling as well, he pays for the parking, he pays for this. He might as well just pay for the air you are breathing during that date. Pay for something, or even if you don't end up paying, offer to pay for it. And if the guy says, no, it's fine, then come. But offer. It raises your value in the eyes of a man. Whether you want to believe it or not. Ask your dad. As if he ended up taking your mom on a date. But, pay for something, man. Don't embarrass yourself. Are you not ashamed at your big age? You can't even offer to pay for the drinks or something. Come on, man. Now, the fifth and final one is talking too much or too little on a date. Talking too much or too little on a date. Now that's a funny one, because if you talk too much, that's a disadvantage. If you talk too little, that's also a disadvantage. So you should be in the middle, make a conscious effort not to overtalk the other person. Communication is a two-way street. You talk, I listen. I talk, you listen. Don't overtalk the other person, and also don't undertalk to make it seem like, I don't know, like you're a knobhead, like you don't have anything to say, like you're a rock. Because some people, I've met girls that talking to them felt like pulling teeth. It was that dead. Like talking to them felt like pulling teeth. So you want to be in the middle. You want to talk enough, but at the same time not talk too much. If you get what I mean. But those of you that know, don't talk too much and don't talk too little. Be in the middle. A middle ground is fine. A middle ground is fine. It's perfect. And yeah, that's about it. I didn't want to I just wanted to do a quick 5 reasons or 5 mistakes women make on the first date. Women commonly make on the first date that ends up in the guy not pursuing them any further. So that's about it. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching. Till next time, goodbye, peace.